Hello everyone. Today we'll try to understand the difference between cookies, local storage and session storage, and more importantly when to use which one. So in our modern applications, we when we use our applications, that can be a web application or a mobile application. For web applications, in our everyday activity we choose one of them, for example cookies, local storage or session. But it is very important to understand which storage to use and when to use it. So let's get started. For first is the cookies. Cookies are very small, and those are sent with HTTP request every time to the server and back to the client. Since they are very small, so they can be stored in the browser. Mostly cookies are used for JWT and session. Okay. Then the next is local storage. Local storage is also stored in the browser. It's a simple key value store, where you can store key can be anything, and value can be any object or string or number, anything that you can store. Okay. The advantage of local storage, it is persistent, it does not expire. Cookies also does not expire, but we can set an expiration to the cookie, and after that the cookie will automatically be expired. You don't need to delete it manually. Okay. Then for local storage, it is used for saving user preference, UI state. For example, you want to give a store some activity of the user, like if you navigate from page A to page B and you want to keep the state, what was the last state user visited, so that you can keep it in local storage. And it's just a user preference, it's not related to any critical user data. It's just a state that what you want to maintain in the UI, so that we can store in the local storage. Session storage is similar to local storage only, but it is mostly related to a temporary data. Why? Because the data will get lost whenever you close a particular tab. So local storage, the data remains for a long time, but in session storage, as soon as we close the tab, the data is lost. So for example, if you want to track any form data or any session data, so whenever the tab is open, you can start the session and keep a track of it. And whenever you user close the session, then you can directly, then that session gets destroyed, as it's a temporary data. So automatically user will get logged out from that particular session. So summary is for use case, and summary for mostly cookies are used for authentication and security, because those are not directly accessible to the JavaScript. Local storage and session storage are directly accessible to the JavaScript. Local storage for long-term storage, session storage for temporary data. Next, let's see this in action. I'll show you a walkthrough of the code. Here I have maintained three examples. For example, I'll just show you. First we'll walk through the code. This is a simple index.html where I have kept few buttons, like first we'll set the data in the local storage, then I'll fetch that data. It's just simple set the data in the local storage and fetch that same data. Next is the session storage, it's the same. Third is the cookies, we'll set the cookies, and then server will send us back the same cookie. And these are the functions, these are the methods, these are built in JavaScript methods. These are allowed to communicate with the browser. So for example, if you want to set data in the local storage, you can just use local storage. This is a global object, local storage dot set item, and to get fetch the data, you have to local storage dot get item and pass that particular key which has the data. So here we use key as a normal string to pass the data, and this is the data that we are storing in our local storage. Okay, so similarly for session storage also, this is a session storage. Here also we have this global object session storage dot set item key local session storage, and to fetch session storage dot get item key. Cookies, it is different. In order to set the cookies, we just server will set the cookie, so we are just fetching this data, and automatically server will set the cookie. And in order to read that cookie in the UI, you can just use that particular get API, and just res.json, you can see that cookie. And how we are setting the cookie in the server, so here when we hit the set cookie API, the server is setting this cookie, demo cookie, key of the cookie, and name. Here it is not like a key value pair, it's just a normal string that is stored in the cookie. It's our job to split it out, like this is a key and this is a value. Then cookie is set, and then it's just we want to read the cookie, so I've created a separate route for get cookie. This is a simple Node.js API. Now I'll just show you that in the UI. So here we can see three buttons. I'll just show you the net in the application tab. So here we can see application tab. We have local storage, session storage, and cookies. So these are widely used. Other than we have options like in extension storage and DB, but those we will cover in some next video. So first is the local storage. So here this is empty. So I'll just set the local storage. So this is how local storage is set, and get local storage. So here you can see I'll just fetch this same value from the local storage. Hello local storage. Similarly, I can set the session using session storage. This is how I have set the session storage, and to fetch it I am using session storage dot get item and passing this particular key. So here I'll just do. So here we are fetching the session storage. Next is the cookies part. Cookies. So here I have set the cookie. Okay, but here you can see, if you do in the headers you will see only one object. Let me just fetch that cookie. Here demo cookie hello, this is only a single object, it's a string. You can directly you won't get it directly as a key value pair. You have to get it as a JSON, parse it as JSON, then you will get it as a key value pair. Now suppose if I close this particular tab and open a new tab. Okay, see, let's see what happens. It's okay. So cookies as it is, because cookie we have not set any expiration. Local storage is also there, but session storage is gone because that tab was closed. So this is how session storage is used for temporary data. Local storage can be kept for a longer time, and cookies are set because we have not set any expiration. Yeah, so it is very important to understand when to use and when to use what. So basically you should use cookies for authentication security purposes. Non-sensitive data like such as state of the user or any user preference that you can use, you can use local storage. Session storage, anything you want to maintain, anything related to a user session or any form data that you want to be maintained only for that particular time, so that you can keep for session storage. Okay, so let's go to the slide and understand this small difference. So here you see the feature, we have storage limit on cookies. We have a limitation of approximately 4 KB, and local storage session storage has approximately 5 MB 5 MB. Expiry, you have seen it can be expired when we set an expiry in the cookies. Local storage there is no expiry. Session storage on the tab closed. So you have seen in the demo, when we switch the tab or close the tab, then that session storage was lost. Sent to the server, yes, cookies are automatically sent to the server. We don't have to write an extra code for that. Local storage and client storage are only for client application, they are not sent to the server. Accessible via JavaScript, yes, cookies can be HTTP only. So when you mention we are sending the cookie, then you have to mention HTTPS. Accessible JavaScript, yes. Okay, scope is all tabs. It is active in all tabs. Session storage is just for a single tab. It's a temporary data. Security here is high. Local storage low sensitive, and session storage is also sensitive because it is accessible for all the JavaScripts. Yeah, so that is, understanding this difference is important for building a secure application. Yeah, thank you for that.